What's up, everybody? Welcome to my channel, Angel Says Life. This is a channel where I like to talk about my life's passions. So that includes music, music news, lyrical breakdowns and reactions that relate to music, life stuff, mom stuff, spirituality. I want to start talking about dance and choreography, art stuff, all of that. So welcome if you're new here. If you're not new here and you're a subscriber of mine, thank you very do it.
You yourself, it's 3 stacks.
It depends
Andre,
on
Dre.
who you're talking to.
Okay, what would you
Like
prefer
my
to go by?
homies, they'll call me like Stacks, 3,000. Dre, Big call me Dre.
Still.
Yeah. Partners in the hood will call me 3 or Stacks.
What was your first rap name?
Black Wolf.
For real? Black Wolf, how old
And
were
Big
you?
Boy was Black Dog.
How old
Black
were
Dog,
you?
Black Wolf. 16.
And you guys had a name before Outkast.
Yeah, we was 2 Shades Deep.
Two Shades Deep.
Like we were big, Tribe Called Quest fans. Like, so we was kind of like, the 3-word names were in at the time. You know what I mean? So they called themselves 4 Shades Deep. And I was like, they done stole our name. And we was kind of like outcasts in the high school because we dressed different.
Period.
And so, we was like, we just gonna be outcasts. And it was like, whoa, we in here.
Very famous shots.
Yeah, very
Yeah.
famous.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
all
yeah.
the tables plus close to each other. Like ain't much wiggle room in there. Once you sit down, sit your down now. Ain't no getting up, leave, coming back. Yeah, tight little spot.
What did you expect? Did you have an expectation?
Well, I mean, I listened to the album a few times.
Okay.
So I just went in just like on some vibe. I want to just feel the vibration. And he a funny too. I ain't know how funny he is. So like during his sets, after he get done with his setting, he just gets popping off talking like, hey, I ain't about to be here rapping, so if that's what y'all looking for, y'all go ahead and get up out of here. Or, you know what I'm saying, I want y'all to make noise in here. I need y'all to ride with me. Like, he be on some funny, I ain't know that.
I be trying to defuse it.
Yeah.
I don't want people to think, I love jazz music,
Yeah.
but I don't want people to be thinking that I'm trying to be a jazz musician.
Yeah.
Or anything like that. So I don't take myself that serious as jazz musicians now. Like jazz is a studied music, so I kind of like just try to humanize,
Yeah.
So even with some of the titles on the album, I was like really trying to poke fun of it or just, have
But
fun.
jazz is also
I
very-
kind of look at myself as just like a sonic displayist. Like I don't know what notes I'm playing, to be completely honest. So I ain't trying to pretend like, I know what I'm doing in a way. I actually don't know what I'm doing, and that's part of the art around making up raps. Like I'm a writer.
Right,
So
me
this
too.
is the most free I've ever been. Like, so I'm like, yeah, I'm loving it.
That's good.
So, Stack,
Find
is it
something-
safe?
find
I'm just,
something you
like.
I was just gonna follow. Is it safe to say if Bron went to your show in New York, and then he goes to a show in Chicago a week later, he's gonna hear something different?
He definitely will hear something. Even if you go, we were doing 2 nights,
Two nights in a row, yeah.
at the show Bron came to, and it was like, we'll do a 75-minute set, take an hour break, and then they'll bring in a new crowd, and we'll do a whole nother set. Those 2 shows in the night gonna be different. When you say I listen to everything, like, that's one thing about Outkast. Like, we was just, me and Big listened to everything. Like, it was, and to that point, at a certain point, we felt like we can do everything because we listen to everything. I think so. Music is just, you don't have to do one thing, you know, if you don't want to.
It
but
opened the
all the
door for other
influences.
stuff for sure.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, like you
my
can go
influences from once I started producing on the second album. You know, I'm buying records and I'm looking at the back of albums, looking at all the groups that I'm into, looking at Parliament Funkadelic, looking at Sly Stone, looking at those players who played with James Brown, blah blah blah, and I started to notice the people that I was attracted to. And I was like, that's who I want to be like, you know? So a lot of my heroes, from Prince to Sly, that's all in me, like punk artists. I always went to like who looked like they having the most fun, telling the most truth. All the people me and Big and CeeLo were the youngest in the dungeon at the time. All my homies from Rico to Gil, Cujo, Timo, they were a little older than us, so they had been rapping longer than us. So my whole crew, like when you build a community of people, which is so important, when you have crews in the dungeon, it became like an island, and we developed our own lingo, our own slang, our own look, and you build confidence in your crew where you don't give what nobody outside that say. And man, my crew built me. You know what I mean? Like, you know, rest in peace, Rico. But Rico, there were times when like I would say raps to Rico and he would just get up and walk. He might be smoking a blunt. He might get up and walk away. And it was so disrespectful to me as a kid. I was like, this mother, man, like.
Yeah, tell us what because we all know Dungeon Family.
Yeah,
but what was the physical place like? Because it was a studio almost, right?
It was a makeshift studio. We had like house speakers and a few drum machines and like car seats that would tow out of cars on dirt floors. It was like a crawl space in Rico's mama house, and Rico was kind and visionary enough to let us all young stay in her house in the basement.
That's crazy.
If she wouldn't have opened her doors and it wouldn't be no dungeon. Shout out Ms. Wade. They gave me, because I'm an only child. Like I wasn't really confident in school. Like it took me a minute to learn how to perform even. Like I was a nervous kind of like kid. I didn't know, but even when you writing it, I get a sense of, man, I don't know where it's coming from. Words start coming together like, oh. You know, and it's kind of a thing that you not, like I could have never thought of that on my human own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So at that point, when I say the spirit working on, whatever you believe in, you believe in God, you believe in Jesus, all that kind of stuff. But the spirit, there's something underneath, like, these are earth suits. We just wearing it to be able to talk and walk in. But the spirit in there, you know, that when we die, it goes somewhere else. The spirit, that get to working, man. And that's
Don't get me talking about this kind of...
When you channeling, like as a musician, man, musicians I know it the same way. Like it's really an alive as a rapper, man. I grew up in the most effective rappers. They talked about real in their life. And so when I became a rapper, that's kind of what I wanted to do. So a lot of times I'm just letting people know that I'm human, I go through things. So them verses be real for me. You're just trying to find a way to contribute to a song. You know, like I know I ain't no pimpin' like that. So, but my homies are, you know, so how can I display a situation that makes sense for the song? And so you just set it up and where I was in my life at the time. I wasn't, you know, trying to get married at the time, but I know I wasn't no pimp either.
One thing I want to ask you about is like, we had LL on the show, he was like, I'm about to put out another album.
Yeah.
And we started talking about you. I don't know if you saw it, but we
Of course I saw it.
Of course, like trying not to be like as you get older, not rap. What's your thoughts on that?
But to be clear, he was like, I don't want to hear him play the flute. I want to hear him rap.
Yes, he did say that for sure.
Yeah. And to me, like, I feel like if it's in you, because I still got homies my age and older than me that still rap. So I'm like, if it's in you, you should rap until you die. But what I'm saying is what it takes for me to do it, I'm always looking for the next. I'm not trying to uphold a thing that I've done before. Like, I'm trying, like, of course I have things to say now, but if I can't say them in a fresh, innovative way, like if I feel like I'm just hanging on to something, a same flow that I used to do, or then it's not enough for me. So I can't talk for another rapper. about what they doing, I just say, man, go for it. Like if it's in for me too, like, cause it's therapeutic, and I get a chance for me to go. You know what I mean? Like it's a blessing to go. A lot of people think like I'm holding rap, so it's like I ain't rap. No, like rap is awesome. Like when they asked me about rapping, and I was like, I ain't got nothing to rap about at 50. Like what I'm gonna rap about? Like colonoscopy. That's actually one of my jokes.
Very amazing to see. San Francisco with my husband back in February, and we went to this tiny little club in San Francisco called Bimbo's and saw him there, and it was just a random night that he added on. I knew that he was in the Bay Area, and I knew that we had to get out there to see him, and I actually missed the tickets the first night because they were flying out. And when I listened to it, I will be honest with you, at first I did have a moment where I was like, what is happening right now? By the way, the names on his album are outrageous. They are like three sentences long. It is hilarious, but now he gave some background to that in this interview. As he said, he was kind of poking fun at that idea of fancy schmancy, elitist kind of jazz names on albums and stuff. So, I mean, I did understand it because it was super funny. When I read the titles, I was like, you got to be kidding me. I want to move on to the things that were said that shocked me about LL. I didn't know that LL was also on the shop and had something to say about Dre. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to insert what LL said right here.
All the way up. I'm very clear.
Yeah.
Not the flute, B. Not the flute.
I like the album, though. I was
not the flute. Let's not lie to ourselves.
Like,
I don't want to hear me do the flute.
It was
you want to hear me do a violin? You might not want to hear me do shit. But you want to hear me do a violin album?
Whatever you want to do.
I want him to get with Big Boy. I want him to get with Big Boy. I want them to make an Outcast or do a solo album.
Well,
every time he does a record, one verse, it's enough material for an album. He's so gifted, right?
Right.
So it's like, come on, B, like, not the flute.
I want to hear words.
We're not going to lie. Like, don't get that man needs to know the truth.
Okay, so as you can see, LL had some very serious and deep feelings about what Dre is doing. LL Cool J is a legend in his own right. They are two completely different rappers. They are from two completely different eras of hip hop. I didn't like it. It pissed me off at first. When I went down the rabbit hole and started listening to what LL had to say, it kind of just hit me like, leave my boy and them alone. Okay? Because I'm here for this change in Dre. And you want to know why? Because I've changed. Okay? We all change. You know, Dre's trying to find himself spiritually. I'm totally here for this. Like, he's playing right now. He's playing around. He's feeling the vibe of life. He's feeling the vibe of being alive. If you follow him, you will know that he talks a lot about his heart not fully being in rap, as it were. He respects rap. He loves rap. He is thankful for the fact that a lot of people consider him their top 5. And he talks about that, but he also says it's not him anymore. Change is a really hard thing for people to accept, but change is growth. Okay. And if we're going to continue to grow, especially as we get older, we're going to have venues. What you hear on his album is the music that you will hear if you watch him in concert. The show is improvised. Do something different for yourself and try the thing that you've never done before. What is so scary about that? I'm not sorry. The people that were triggered by Andre 3000 and his flute album and all the changes that he's making, I think are all the same people who are having trouble with growth, development, and introspection themselves. And I do want to say this last thing. When we were standing outside at the concert waiting to get in, there